It all sounds a bit too bizarre to be true.
These are folks who do not recognize the government. The FBI labels them domestic terrorists. And now the Hennepin County Sheriff has identified them as the #1 threat to local law enforcement. This is a group of people who call themselves sovereign citizens. And tonight, we're taking you inside their rapidly growing movement. In fact, our Steve Tellier has spent months researching, talking with experts, and with sovereign citizens themselves. Steve, just how real is this threat, even here in Minnesota?
It's pretty real. Leah, sovereign citizens basically believe that the current federal government is illegitimate and illegal. Illegal. Experts estimate there are about 300,000 sovereigns in the U.S., 100,000 of them, quote, hardcore members. Experts also say their numbers are rising, and so are concerns for local officers. He writes his name in all lowercase. Thomas-Allen-friend. He adds ARR, all rights reserved, and a red thumbprint. This is how Thomas Friend signed dozens of documents he filed in the past year fighting felony attempted theft charges in Anoka County. Hundreds of pages state he is not a United States citizen and is not a corporate person, but is a sovereign American national, a natural physical being. These are all hallmarks of sovereign citizens. Friend declined to speak on camera, and we spent months trying to find a sovereign who would.
I said, there's a lot of things.
Only one agreed. Do you consider yourself a sovereign citizen?
Yes, I do.
Randy Hudson lives in a typical home, on a typical street, in a typical town of 4,700 people, Laverne, Minnesota. But his views are anything but typical. So you believe all Americans are essentially corporate entities?
Yes.
You believe that all Americans are enslaved in some way?
Absolutely.
Do you think some folks might be afraid of you because of what you're saying?
Probably.
Sovereigns like Hudson believe America has been transformed from a republic into a democracy, from self-government to a dictatorship, and from God's common law to unconstitutional statutory law.
Over a period of 150 years, we have slowly lost all our rights.
They trace the change to an obscure law passed in 1871, which created the government of Washington, D.C., but sovereigns believe it had a deeper, sinister purpose.
And in 1871, the government was turned into a corporation.
That leads to perhaps their most bizarre belief, that the federal government has sold its citizens to investors and holds a secret bank account in the name of every American with millions of dollars in each one.
They're traded on the stock market, the same as you and I are.
Hudson says he knows how this sounds.
They think we're crazy, or they say there's absolutely no way this can be true.
But one look online shows he is far from alone.
This is a movement that's spreading and spreading rapidly.
Mark Potok with the Southern Poverty Law Center, a civil rights group, is an expert on domestic extremists, including sovereign citizens.
It is a movement that tells its adherents that everything the government says is false, that the government is secretly holding your dollars that you have a right to, and so it inculcates in its adherents an extreme kind of disrespect for the law.
He says that endangers those who uphold the law.
They see the law enforcement official as an enemy who is lying to them, who is engaged in a gigantic conspiracy to deprive them of their rights.
In In 2010, father and son sovereigns murdered 2 police officers during a traffic stop in Arkansas. Last year, the FBI warned sovereigns are increasingly, quote, attempting to harass and intimidate law enforcement. In August, 2 sovereigns were arrested in Las Vegas for allegedly plotting to torture and kill police officers.
We've seen quite a bit of violence come out of this movement, and I have no doubt that we will see more.
If you ask us what's the biggest concern facing us today in terms of a threat, it is sovereign citizen groups and movements across this country.
Hennepin County Sheriff Richard Stanek has a long list of concerns. He puts the sovereign citizen movement at the top.
Our encounters with sovereign citizens are becoming increasingly more violent.
There are people that don't believe in the government, the legitimacy of the government.
The President is the chief executive officer of this corporation called the United States of America. The President is the chief executive officer of this corporation called the United States of America.
We rode along with Hennepin County Deputy Chad Christopherson as he made the rounds serving civil papers. Officers often come across sovereigns during such routine encounters. Christopherson says some pepper him with personal or politically charged questions. Another scrawled threats inside a foreclosed home.
They had spray painted things on the walls, calling the sheriff an oath breaker, oath breaker, oath breaker, oath breaker.
Then there is so-called paper terrorism, a popular sovereign tactic targeting the courts. Some, like Thomas Friend, flood the system with filings. Others are more confrontational. Thomas and Lisa Eilertson were sentenced to 23 months in prison in June after filing billions of dollars in property liens against everyone involved in the foreclosure of their home, including Stanek himself.
Where they came out to my residence, my personal residence, and confronted my family.
Stanek says he worries about an increasingly confrontational minority of sovereign citizens resorting to violence.
In the United States, and for the international order that we have worked for generations to build. Ordinary men and women are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. That order and progress can only come when individuals surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign.